Welcome to the Active Learning Show. My name is Benjamin, and on this show, we want to think about how we can be in control of our education in order to unleash our potential. Now, ever since I uploaded the last video, I have been thinking, Benjamin, what kind of mindset does one need in order to really pursue that road of taking being in control of their education, or being in the driver's seat of their education? And up to today, I've come up with three things that I think we all need to keep in our minds in order to get into the mind state of, or the mindset of, taking control of our education. And I'm going to share them with you now. So the first thing we need to keep in mind is actually inspired by a comment that Patricia left on the last video I uploaded, and she said this: the whole of life is a learning process. And I agree so much, because whatever you've been doing in life, whatever you are able to do today, depends so much on all the lessons you have gathered about life. How you choose your friends, the food you eat, the language you speak, all has been because you have been able to learn to do them. All right. If you're able to cook for yourself, it's because you learned how to do it. If you're able to tolerate some people, or some sort of people that people rarely tolerate, it's because you've been able to learn to do so. Okay. If you are able to write, it's because you've been able to do so. Your smartphone, you had to learn how to use it. I remember when I first got a smartphone, a full touchscreen phone, I didn't know how to type on your keyboard. Okay, now I can type as fast as anyone in the world, right? So the whole of these things have been a learning process. Whatever we are doing is learning. The times when we struggle is because we have not been able to learn how to do a certain thing at a particular time. Sometimes when we are frustrated because we have a certain problem, it is because we haven't learned how to solve that kind of problem, and so we experience the pain of having that problem, right? Now, the mindset I want to develop is that learning is not limited to the classroom, where you sit in a group and there is someone holding a marker in front of a whiteboard, telling you the things you need to understand from a textbook. Okay, learning is not limited to that, in that environment. In fact, you will find out that the things that will enable you to succeed most, only a few would actually come from the classroom, or the 20 years you spend in the classroom, from the basic school to the university. You'll find out that most of the things that will enable you to be successful at so many things in life will depend on the things you learn outside the classroom more than from the classroom. All right, so I would like you to keep in mind that learning is a learning process, and it's a lifelong process, and it is not limited to the classroom. But beyond it not being limited in the classroom, we also need to understand that it is anytime, it is anywhere, everywhere you are learning. As long as you are encountering any situation in life, you are in a learning process. So let's keep that's the first thing we need to keep in mind. Learning is a lifelong process. The second thought we need to keep in mind is that learning is how we solve problems. Okay, and this makes it more urgent for us to be learners, or to be active learners, because the more learnings we do, the more skills we acquire, the more knowledge we acquire, the more possible it will be for us to get ourselves out of problems when we encounter one. Okay, so imagine you have a car, and then you are driving on a highway, and then poof, one of your wheels gets burst, or one of your tires goes off. Okay, and you need to change it, right? If you have never done it before, you'll not be able to change your wheel, or it is going to be so tough for you to change the wheel. So your learning is what would have gotten you into that situation. Or perhaps your car faces a little challenge, and then you don't know how to go about it. You will not be able to solve it unless you learn how to deal with car engines and all that. And the clear example we are living at the moment is that of COVID-19. Before 2020, there was little news about COVID-19, and since March 2020, for those of us in Ghana, we have learned so many things about how to use remote networks in order to connect with our peers who we are social distancing from. All right, so people left campus to the house, but they were able to reconnect and still take lessons because their lecturers learned how to manipulate the system that will enable them keep in touch with their students. Some people rarely sent emails, but since last year up to now, they are able to respond regularly to their emails. People didn't know how to use Zoom, but we now have to learn how to manipulate all the Zoom buttons and then make our calls, make our video calls all the time. Okay, so life is always learning, and whenever we learn, it is to make our lives easier. Now, the coronavirus virus is, people are getting the vaccines. All right. Now, how did they get a vaccine? It is because they learned to understand how the virus behaves in the viruses behave in the body. Okay, and then they were able to determine what kind of chemicals to put together in order to defeat the virus without killing the individual. Okay, so many tests have gone into this problem. Many experiments have been taken. Many have failed, and a few seem to be working. And so we can see the lights at the end of at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so, and it's because learning has been taking place. So we are always learning in order to make our lives easier. So whenever you have to learn anything, keep in mind it is going to make your life easier. So we have learned that life is a learning process. 2, learning makes our lives easier. Now the third point is that learning is best done by solving problems. We learn best by solving problems. I mean, there are so many things I've been taught in school, so many things I've learned in school that I have forgotten because I didn't put them to use. Okay, and that is the whole sometimes the issue we face when we are students. Sometimes we learn things and then we feel they are not valuable to us, and it is because there wasn't a problem that we could apply the knowledge to. Okay, so it's more memorable to remember the things you learn if you do something with them than merely swallowing them and then maybe chewing them and then pouring them onto an exam sheet. Okay, so the moment you are really learning is when you face a problem and then you find your way out of it by using a certain skill or a certain information, however the situation is. Okay, so the best way to learn is to solve problems. Okay, now I remember when I began learning French and in October 2017. Okay, I had previously been given a lot of lessons by my lecturers in French, but at that point I didn't feel I was really learning French. I thought I was being taught French. Okay, it was when I faced a situation in Togo where I had to explain an accident to a lecturer that I found myself struggling to put words together in order to solve that particular problem of communicating in French the accident that happened and got a good friend of mine to a hospital. Okay, so by applying by trying to solve that problem, I was forced okay to apply the things I had learned in class, and I was successful at it. Okay, so the whole thing we need to keep in mind is that when we are constantly applying our learnings to solving problems, we are at our best in learning, and the likelihood of us forgetting theories is very, very low. Okay, so the best way to learn is to solve problems. Now, guys, we have learned that learning is a lifelong process. It is also how we take away our problems, and the best way to go about it is by applying our knowledge to solving problems. All right. Now, I would want us to be very intentional about our learning process. The idea being that observe yourself in every situation you appear in. Okay, and then see the possible things you could be learning, the new things you are learning, the mistakes you are making because you lack a certain type of knowledge. Identify the problem that exists in your community because somebody does not understand certain things. Okay, identify the problem that exists in a room because there is something you don't know how to do, and ask yourself, is there something I need to learn in order to solve problem, or in order to solve this problem, or what can I learn at this instant in order to solve this problem. And trust me, if you ask yourself that question enough, you will see yourself googling, asking people, not reading books, in order to make sure that you have the knowledge and skills that is needed to solve any kind of problem you encounter in. And mind you, one way of solving problem is by knowing who to ask at what time, and that is also something you have to learn. You don't always have to solve your problems, right? But I will end. I'm not going to develop that. I'm going to end here, and thank you so much for all the amazing love you showed me in the previous video. Some people sent me beautiful comments, words of encouragement. Some people subscribed to the channel. Some people shared it with their friends, and it made me so happy. Okay, it was like I was being welcomed. I was being given a very beautiful, huge welcome. Okay, and that is a good feeling. It helps me continue to think about what I would share with you next. So thank you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button so that the next time there is a video, you get the notification. And then, guys, be an active learner. Be an active learner.